Welcome to Pilot 18. I'm Jyoti Verma and today we'll be discussing about wind. So in our atmosphere, air, it moves both horizontally and vertically. So the horizontal movement of air, it is called as wind. So the direction of wind, it is nothing but the direction from where the wind is coming from or blowing. Southerly wind, it blows from south to north. Northerly, it moves from north to south. Easterly from east to west, and westerly from west to east. So we have 16-point compass that indicates us the correct direction of the wind. And these wind direction, they are reported in 10-degree intervals. For example, 60, 70, 80 degrees like that. Then we have wind speed. Wind speed is always measured in knots. 1 kilometer per hour will be equal to 0.540 knots. I have written here. It is important. Please write it down. It will be helpful for conversions. Then we have instruments to measure wind. For surface wind distance, we have anemometer. For wind direction, we have wind vane. And for upper wind, we have raven. Then wind average. When we are flying, we are using the wind speed that is average of 10 minutes of wind speed. But during the landing and takeoff, we take the average wind speed of 2 minutes. It is due to the safety of the aircraft. Then we have gust. Gust is caused by turbulence or the uneven heating of the ground. So we have in gust, we have positive or negative fluctuation. Suppose this is an aircraft. If suddenly a blow of wind comes in which my aircraft gets like this, it is going upward, then that is positive fluctuation and it will be called as gust. But in negative fluctuation, if by chance all of a sudden my a wind struck, a wind blew and my aircraft is going down, then that is negative fluctuation and that will be called as lull. I have made a diagram here. This is mean wind speed, positive gust, negative gust. It is lull. Then we have crosswind. Crosswind is nothing but 90 degree, the wind that hits 90 degree while my aircraft is on runway, it is called as crosswind. This wind affects during landing and takeoff and it is not good. Like anything, if this is my aircraft that's on runway, if the wind is coming from right and forth, so it's just not easy for the pilot to take off. Then we have squall. Squall is part of thunderstorm, nor'westers, and it is associated with CB clouds, cyclones, and all these things. Squall we get from March to June. So in squall, the wind speed is suddenly increases 16 knots, and the wind speed it should be equal to or more than 44 km per hour. And squall is some kilometer horizontally, it is spread some kilometer horizontally and several thousand feet vertically. So guys, if you don't know what CB clouds is, then this is a very high density cloud and it has a lot of precipitation. Then we have gale. Then in gale, the wind speed is 34 knots or more. In gale, it is associated with depression. Now, depression is nothing but low pressure area. It is called as depression. And the other term that we use is backing and veering. So, backing is when, suppose the direction of wind, it goes from 270 degree to 250 degree. Means it is the direction of wind, it becomes anti-clockwise, then it is backing. And veering is just the opposite. If the direction, it has positive change, for example 60 degree to 80 degree, then it is veering. This is clockwise. In low pressure region in northern hemisphere, the air it moves anti-clockwise, and in high pressure region it moves clockwise in northern hemisphere. And then we will study about Bayes-Ballott's law. It is a very important law, guys. You will definitely get a question from here, no doubt. It comes like every year. It's a repeated question. Then this law, what it actually says is, suppose wind is coming from this direction and my back is towards the direction from where the wind is blowing. So on my left side will be the low pressure region and on my right side it will be the high pressure region if I am standing in the northern hemisphere, and it is exactly opposite when I will be standing in southern hemisphere. In southern hemisphere, on my left side there will be high pressure region and on my right side there will be low pressure region. And it also concludes, this is the conclusion, that air, it will move anti-clockwise during cyclone in northern hemisphere and it will move clockwise during anticyclone in northern hemisphere, and exactly opposite in southern hemisphere. And wind speed, guys, it is always reported by the difference or during the interval of 5 knots. Like it is reported 5 knots, 10 knots, like this it is reported. Now we will learn about turbulence. So turbulence is nothing but a combination of gusts and winds. Positive and negative fluctuations, when they combine, they form turbulence. So turbulence, there are 2 types, frictional turbulence and then we have thermal turbulence. Frictional turbulence, guys, you know when an aircraft is flying, so below the air is there and between the aircraft and the air we have friction. So when the air speed it suddenly increases, the aircraft will become less stable. So due to the increased air speed, eddies are formed. Eddies are nothing but they are swirls of thermal. Okay, these are eddies. So due to that, turbulence is experienced. Then we have thermal turbulence. Thermal turbulence is due to the convective currents which are formed when the ground surface, it's heated, and it is more common in the hot afternoons. Then the factors affecting turbulence, we have steep lapse rate. Guys, as we go to higher altitude, the temperature will decrease. So this is called as lapse rate. And steep lapse rate is suddenly decreasing of temperature when we are going with the higher altitude. Then we have friction. When the friction it will increase, then we'll be having more turbulence. Then the speed of air, it is also related to the friction. When the speed of air will increase, it will bother the friction that is taking place between the aircraft and the air. Then we have diurnal variation. So guys, during day, convection due to ground heating creates thermal eddies. This stretches the friction upward. So friction it decreases. So during daytime, convection heating it happens. So the friction layer it increases. And what happens when friction layer increases? Like if it stretches, the friction will reduce, because when a layer is stretched, the space between the layer it will enhance and then it will reduce the friction. During night time, just opposite happens. Friction will increase because the layer it get compressed to the ground, and these eddies they will die during night time. And these diurnal variation, you can easily notice it during clear night or hot summers or clear weather. Then we have wind shear. Wind shear is nothing but sudden change in speed or direction of wind. It is called as wind shear. Now we have 3 very important type of wind. It is anabatic wind, katabatic wind and foehn wind. Foehn wind is also called as Alps. The speciality of these wind is that we can notice them on mountain regions. So in anabatic, what happens? This is mountain. This is wind. So during daytime, due to the sun heat, the slope will become very hot. So the wind that is hitting this slope, it will become hot. And what happens when the wind becomes hot? It will raise high. It will rise. So this wind, it will start ascending. So this is known as anabatic wind. Then katabatic wind is just opposite. During night, the slope will become cold. So the wind that is on top, which is cold, it becomes heavy. The cold wind, it is always heavy. So when it becomes heavy, it starts to descend. So this is known as katabatic. Now foehn wind, it is related to precipitation and convection. It is due to adiabatic cooling. So when this hot wind, it rises up, this is wind, it becomes hot, it rises up. Then due to precipitation, a lot of precipitation is formed because of cooling. Then it will rain, and the warm wind, it will come down. Okay, simple. Then we have sea breeze and land breeze. So the breeze which comes from sea to land is called as sea breeze, and the breeze which goes from land to sea is called as land breeze. So in sea breeze, what happens during daytime, when land becomes hot, the air, it moves upward and then it moves towards the sea. Now the air above the sea, it will have a high pressure. The pressure of land, it decreases due to the heat absorbed by the ground. So that pressure, that high pressure on the surface of the sea, it pushes that air back. So in the form of breeze, during daytime, the sea air, it moves, it blows towards the land, and this is called as sea breeze. And during night time, the land air, it moves, same things happen. The pressure of the land increases and the pressure on the top of sea decreases. So when the air from the sea wants to comes to land, so the pressure on the land, it pushes it back. So the air from land to sea goes, and it is called as land breeze. Then we have vorticity. Vorticity is nothing but it is the calculation of turns or rotations. So vorticity can be cyclonic or acyclonic, but on Earth vorticity, it is always cyclonic. Then we have absolute vorticity. So it is nothing, absolute vorticity is sum of all the vorticities, and it is always cyclonic. And this vorticity is very information. This information is needed for the formation of cyclone, thunderstorms, and etc. So by this we are ending our chapter of wind, and it's simple. Then we have all the different names of the wind. So we will discuss it in another video.